Democrats celebrated better than expected performance in the midterm elections this week, blunting Republican efforts to gain ground in Congress and across the country. But the relief masked a continued problem. The party still has work to do to shore up its diverse voter base. The red wave pundits' predictions did not materialize as much, but support for Democrats has also slipped across the board. According to Washington Post, more than 8 in 10 black voters supported Democrats for Congress. But their level of support fell between 4 and 7 percentage points during the midterm, compared with 2018. According to network exit polls, support for Democrats among young voters and women remained high, but still slipped. In 2018, voters under 30 supported Democrats by a 35-point margin, but that was down to 28 percentage points in 2022. Women supported Democrats over Republicans in 2018 by a 19-point margin that was down to 8 points this year. The findings comes from 2 large surveys of voters conducted on election day and in the days leading up to it, with overall results weighed to match vote tallies. Now, the data provide an early look at how different groups voted across the country through results as survey estimates rather than firm vote tallies. Leaders from Latino, Asian American, and Black voters outreach groups said the midterm results, while better than they expected, still showed Democrats spent too much time attempting to court and flip white voters rather than investing in communities of color who already display more affinity for the Democratic Party and have historically been shut out of the political process. A nonpartisan organization that advocates for women of color in politics claim that black and brown voters, particularly black and brown women, continue to be the base of the party. But Democrats cannot take this support for granted because they need to take more actions. So what is lacking? Are women supported the way they should be in modern America? And we over here are talking about women of color. We will talk about this issue in our show today with Sonia Rash, who has recently won her county election and has an extensive experience of campaigns and grassroots politics. Thank you so much, Sonia, for joining me today, and congratulations with your elections. And this must be an overwhelming experience.
I'm extremely excited. I'm extremely happy, and I'm extremely happy in order to be here and start work.
And you must be extremely exhausted. You're forgetting that part.
I am extremely exhausted too, for sure. That is correct.
Okay, so today's show is all about women. As a colored woman, as a mother, as a partner, and as a minority in the United States. You have campaigned so extensively at the grassroots level. You have done all the events, you used to go and meet people, you have done extensive block walking. So what was your experience like? What are women in election, when we are comparing it to the campaigns, what are we lacking here?
Well, you know, first of all, I think one of the things that we need to learn to do is work together in unity. Mm-hmm. All women of all color, of all creed, race. And I think that once we start working together, we will have a better knowledge of how to move forward together too. Unfortunately, I realize that as women, we do have a heavy plate. We have to be the mothers in the family. We have to be the caregivers nowadays to our elderly parents.
And it is always expected out of us.
Absolutely. There's no thanks for what we do, basically.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you know, doing all that, being the mother, being a worker, it becomes overwhelming, and I can see that. And I think that if we as women work together, rely on each other when we need it, I think that's going to create hopefully a bandwidth that we can all relate to, and we can all grow and be successful together, and no matter what you do.
Yeah, but I feel like this is a universal question now. I asked this from the other candidates and all the people who won the election this time as well, who were colored. Asians do not see that chance to even stand in the box over there. They just put us in a box and put the lid on top of it. Did you felt it in your campaign?
Well, I felt it, but I felt it, as you said, because of a woman, because being a woman. I also felt it amongst our own people. You know, amongst our own people.
Oh, we are judged the first time. Among our own people, when we go, the moment we are out there, comments have been done, gossip has been crossed, and people have already made up their mind. They don't want to know who we are, what we do, where we are coming from. They just know, they know better about us.
And that's unfortunate. And that's unfortunate. And I'm hoping with time, with our younger generation who are born here, who are raised here, that they realize that that is not the way to handle situations. We should not be judging our own selves. We should be able to talk to somebody, have a communication with them before they have these preconceived notions. And that's what I found. Our own communities, they were already deciding that, well, we will sponsor, we will help more the men in our society than we will the women. And it's too bad, and it's unfortunate. And I'm not talking about everyone. You know, there are plenty.
Oh, definitely.
Right,
it's
there
not
are
about everyone.
Absolutely, because there were plenty of male individuals in my campaign who came out and they were sponsoring me, they were encouraging me, they were supporters. But it's the other half, and I should say quite more than half, that were not. And the simple reason was they never talked to me, they've never reached out to me, they've never even attempted.
They just shun you out.
Right. Because
so it's a form of, it's a soft harassment, rather.
I don't even know if it's a harassment. I just think maybe it's a cultural thing sometimes. You know, we come from a country, some of us come from countries where women don't have as much freedom, they don't have as much rights, and when that mentality comes over here, it's unfortunate because we live in a country where everyone should have the right to speak out, that everyone should be supported no matter where they come from, their accent, their actions within their own family life. But when you come here and you already have these notions of what the gender should be doing, what your gender role is, it's hard to break. It's very difficult to break until the younger generation comes out and they break it for their family or for their parents.
During your campaign, I'm going to ask you a very direct question.
Sure.
During your campaign, did you ever feel that you have been harassed?
Well, let me tell you, when you say harassed, I think every woman at some point in time in her life has been harassed in one way or another, whether it's from a friend, a family, you know, ridiculous female jokes, whether it's on the job. So, you know, it's hard for me to answer that without saying that I think at some point in time, 99.9% of women in the United States, and I'm sure even more outside of the United States, we've all been harassed at some point. We've all had, and whether that harassment is in the form of jokes, whether that harassment is a form of physical, emotional, verbal. But so I think that, again, that's an issue that we have to.
Verbal is so common over here.
Verbal is common, and as many women don't speak out, and because they're frightened. They're frightened for their jobs. They're frightened that people won't believe them. They're frightened, you know, they may lose their friends. The repercussions, correct. And so I think it goes on, unfortunately, on a daily basis to people, and we may sweep it under the rug as South Asians.
Yes,
we may
as Asians, we do it regularly.
Correct.
It's part of our culture, rather.
Correct. It is part of our culture, and it's
which is unfortunate to say that, but it is.
Yes, and it's something that we have to change because I always have to remind people that if they're doing it to me, then they're going to do it to you. They're going to do it to your child. They're going to do it to teachers. They're going to do it to everyone. And some of them may be behind the doors, but these people that do these things even behind the doors.
So basically, we are circling around in a circular room with our own people. So we haven't even started to get out and face it from the other communities as well.
Well, if we are being brought down by our own people,
yeah.
What does that say, though?
There's no chance.
Well, I don't know if there's no chance, but it definitely doesn't inspire others to go out and take action in positions of power or in positions of...
I have felt it. I'm going to talk about myself over
Sure,
here.
absolutely.
I have felt it at my end. I'm a journalist. I have a right to go and ask questions.
Correct.
The Constitution gives me that right. But my own people would go and give the feedback way earlier than I even reached there. I'm not even at the doorstep, but it's already there. And then people don't even bother. And I'm talking about not the community people, the other communities. They've already made up their mind that if they would like to talk to me or give me an interview or no. It's just... And why it's happening? Because my own people have already done it themselves.
Right. They've already produced the damage for you.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. I think, I'm hoping that some of our people wake up and they realize that if we don't become unified, then we are not going to be able to progress. And we have to be unified. And we have to, and let me tell you, unification does not mean, you rely or you support someone because they're from your country. Unification means you give people an opportunity. When they're from your country, that's great. That should be a bonus in order for you to understand that maybe you can relate to them a little bit better. But it always has to be earned. Things have to be earned, but you have to give us the opportunity to earn it.
I'm going to, after the break, I have to take a very short break, but after the break, we're going to talk about what Democratic Party as a party at a grassroots level can provide the support for the women of color especially, and if they're doing it. Let's take a very short break. You're watching Truth Be Told with me, Sophia Jamal. Welcome back. Before going on the break, we were talking to Sonia Rash, and we were talking about if Democratic Party at the grassroots level can provide a little more support than what they're doing right now. Sonia, my question, because I'm asking, you're my guest today because you have worked so much at the grassroots level with the people and all type of campaigns you have seen. It's been a while. So what do you think, can Democratic Party at a grassroots level can give a little more support to all the colored women?
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so. And I think just women in general. But yes, that would be a wonderful thing to have and a wonderful thing to do. But the Democratic, not just the Democratic Party, but our Democratic women, those of us, and again, it all comes down to how much time you have. And because I realize we all have busy schedules, but if we can't give a little bit of time to help the people who are running for us, then there's many different ways to help. You don't always have to come out and block walk. You don't always have to come out and make phone banking calls. I mean, there are many ways to help, but if we just lay back and let other people do it, it's very difficult to keep moving ahead by yourself.
Okay, let me read this statement to you because leaders from Latino, Asian American, and Black voter outreach groups said that the midterm results were better than expected, but they are talking about the fact, they are claiming that Black and brown voters, particularly Black and brown women, continue to be the base of the party, but the Democrats cannot take their support for granted. They need to take some action. So what do you have? Do you agree with this statement?
Sure. I think what we need to do, and this is overall, and of course we live in Texas, and I'm speaking about Texas, and specifically in Fort Bend and the surrounding areas. We really would like, and we really should be doing, knocking on doors to society or to the areas that have predominantly black and brown females or black and brown communities, really, because we need to get them engaged. We need to get them engaged because many of the things that we want to implement, it will benefit not just them and everyone else, but we need to get them engaged so they know the right questions to ask, the people to ask when they need things. Right now, if we don't engage them and if we ignore them, then they're going to ignore us too.
Yeah.
You know, and we need them.
What was the thing which really irritated you during the whole campaign? Which was really bothered you? Because sometimes there are things which you're like, okay, it's bothering me for a while and I cannot find a solution to it.
Negativity. Negativity. You know, there's no reason that people can't be civil with each other. And there is no reason that someone can't reach out and communicate with you.
So you got this negativity from women only or from other communities?
No, just I'm going to say in general, negativity in general. And when things don't always work out for another candidate, right? I think it's time. If you are a true Democrat or a true Republican, you stick. Okay, with the positive people who won. People won because of our voting process. People won because of the integrity in our voting process. We cannot go back and say things that, hey, we're not going to support a candidate because someone else won and we wanted that person not to win. We have to stick together. And when we start as a community and as a people, as Democrats, we have to stick together. Now, don't get me wrong. We have to stick together with the right person. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about the person that has the experience, the person who cares about the community, who wants to go out there and do good for everyone. We cannot be stuck in our old ways, pondering about why someone won and why someone did not win. We have to always be looking and moving forward.
So you're basically talking about the primaries. Within the primaries, like when you're doing it within your party and you have faced all this.
Well, the primaries is one of them, not just for me, but for other people. Correct, who went through the primary and they won, they moved forward, and that's the system we live in. And if you are,
but they're all Democrats in that case. So then that's the point. Like,
well,
why aren't they coming up?
Well, Republicans
that's
an
opposition
that's
party.
Correct. That's an opposition
party.
But
within the party, so they are not providing that support. Even if somebody wins or somebody loses, that's fine, but you have to still stick around, like in organizations.
Correct.
It always happens in organizations. You're promoted or you're not promoted, but you have to stay together as an organization. So this is not the case in political action committees and things like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I can only talk about what I see and what I know. Right, my experience from what I've seen.
Yeah.
And I think for me, a great deal of this could be more unity amongst us. And again, you know what? I do think that maybe this is the case for a lot of organizations, a lot of groups. It's not just the Democratic Party, but more unity, and for people to understand that we do this and we shouldn't be doing this for ego. We do this because we care.
Because we care for the people.
Right, we want to give back. Yeah. So win or lose during the primary, we need to come together. We need to say, hey, you know what? We will work together as a team.
Yeah, and provide support to the people.
Correct.
Because it's a public office, you know,
Absolutely.
You're running for. Okay, coming to your campaign plan, since you are the winner now. So your campaign was like convenient video conference hearings, night court for working families. That's very, very important actually for a lot of people because we are at work.
Correct.
The whole day. And community outreach seminars, landlord tenant rights, truancy, small claims. So you think this was not happening before you?
Well, I'll tell you what, from what I understand, there was no community outreach programs, period. If there was, I've never heard of them. Secondly, there's no night court, by the way, either. So, I mean, these are things that I think we need to...
So you're going to introduce it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I want to make sure people understand things don't come like this on the first day. It takes work, and it takes work with other organizations to make that happen. So, and I'm going to try my hard to make it happen. I believe that I will be successful in that.
Thank you so much, Sonia, for joining me today. because again, congratulations for winning the elections, and this is going to be, I'm looking forward to see you in the office actually, because I have seen you working so hard for what you have achieved today. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Women are still working hard in the United States to make their voice heard by working day and night to empower voters and defend democracy through advocacy, education, and litigation at the local, state, and national level. Everyone is out here trying to do their best, and we all need to step up and do their part because we love our country and worry for our future generation. Thank you for watching Truth Be Told with me, Sophia Jamal. Have a blessed weekend.